Good morning, traders. It is Tuesday, March 18th, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Welcome to another video with Digital Goats Academy. I'm your host, Antoine Farrar, and welcome to our market overview segment. So real quick, well, I wouldn't say real quick, but what I'm gonna do is talk about the market last week because what I spoke about to my group was that specifically US 30, if that we ended the day last week, on Friday, if we ended Friday bullish, more than likely that the market was going to continue pushing up higher. So that's what we were looking to see. Well, we had expectations that the market was going to turn around once it came down to these zones. Obviously, it pushed, lower than we could have really projected it. But the turnaround is what we expected, right? So the fact that last week on Friday, you can't really see it. I mean, you can. It looks stronger, but as more data is pushed into the market, it shows a different picture. But what we wanted is that the market to be an engulfing, a bullish engulfing candle, which it was. It's not showing it anymore because of new data, but it was a bullish engulfing candle. The candle it closed completely above the body from the bottom to the top of the candle structure on last week's bearish candle. So that was the first sign that we wanted to see. Not to mention since Sunday, between Sunday and I know Sunday it gapped down and then Monday it started rallying up. And currently we're in consolidation. So these were the good signs that we wanted to see. Not to mention, if you looked at what President Trump said last week, even if you don't know how to break down the information or even care to break down the information, he didn't really say anything negative. It sounded more optimistic than it did sound pessimistic. So that stuff should start to, like, once that data starts filtering in the market, we should start seeing the market respond like that. Now, I did annotate or do some more marking up this morning because what I wanted to show was that, within US 30 now, remember, when I talk about like the market is coming from previous moves and it's consolidating, that's normally the direction. But we have to understand that it's still within like some form of a like range, or I mean, this is really consolidation. But since everybody who's been following, not to mention if you are following this channel, make sure you hit that subscription button. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a like, drop a comment on anything you guys would like to see or anything that I can improve on while I'm at it. But right now it's in consolidation territory. What I did was I annotated that this 10 a.m. candle, normally when you see stuff like that, so if you break out to the higher time frame, and you've seen me, everybody has seen me do this before or seen this, like me draw out lines like this. So I'll try to find like what's the lowest point, like once you start seeing a consolidation. You can't see it on the 3-hour time frame or the 2-hour. So the hour is where you see it, right? You start seeing the, I think it was what time frame was this? Maybe it was a 4-hour. I'm guessing it was the hour. Either way, this was the lowest point that the market tried to push down to. That was the 10 a.m. candle. If you hover over it, you can see down to the bottom that it says Monday, March 17th, 10 a.m., right? So this was yesterday's 10 a.m. candle. If the market were to pull back around 10 a.m., 10:30, you know what I'm saying? I could see it. If it were still struggling within this consolidation zone, I could see it trying to test this. You know what I'm saying? What I could see is that the market wanting to break high. We know this is indices. It's the beginning of the week. I could see it wanting to break high, letting you know this is where I want to go, and then come back here to test that. But, in clear sight, to me, this is still the overall direction. I want it to be in the zone for possible buy zones. If you look at it like my blue area, my blue zone, that was that was a support structure that I was looking for the market to come back to. That was our overall support structure, I think. Yeah, that was our overall support structure that the market broke down And you know, I know what we're taught is that if it breaks a certain level of structure, and then it should pull back. Like in this case, not the same scenario because this is technically still support. The market just decided to go way lower than what we anticipated. Well, I mean, we kind of expected that because it matched up with our consolidation zone, but I did think that it was just going to sweep the top, but it pushed into the zone. So it pushed a little bit deeper than what we expected. But again, still on the lines of the things that we wanted to see overall. So this, if the market is continuing to be bullish from here, this is confirming that, yo, we're still to the upside. We're not pushing down. I know that there were talks of like the stock market still probably having like negative effects. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, because even if we are continuing to push down, what I'm thinking is that we're going to push up, you know, to collect some of this equity like the banks like to do. And if we are pushing down, we'll push down from one of these imbalanced areas up here. So I don't think that's happening yet. What I think is, like, again, we're still in consolidation period. Not to mention what the dollar has been showing. The dollar has been struggling to break that zone, but it's been staying in that 103 area. Oh, okay. I didn't even see that this morning. So well, I did see it this morning. From this morning down here, the dollar has already shot up, which means that GBP USD should be bearish based off of this information right here. So the dollar's still been playing in that 103 zone. This is actually what I wanted to see, to be honest. I said this morning that it was in a consolidation zone. Same thing as like US 30. And what I wanted to see is that if it was going to break out, I wanted to see a strong candle like this. So it is giving me the data exactly what I wanted to see, traders. Like I'm telling y'all, like we're in the right period. We're in the right positions. You just have to execute accordingly. You know what I'm saying? You can't enter blindly, but wait till a candle close, give you structure for a little bit more information, and then you enter on the trade. Like even for a trade, man, I might start trading the dollar, because I mean, like even for that move, that's a good move right there. The dollar move, the DXY, like if your broker allows you to trade it, like it moves. So I'm thinking that US 30 indices are going to be affected by this once, you know, opening bell opens up. I don't think that they're going to react like in the opposite way to be pushed down. But again, we already showed like we're in consolidation territory right now. You know, nothing has really been happening. And the only thing is that normally when you see, what is this, 14, so 2 o'clock, I'm looking for, and that's 6 a.m. So the market started consolidating at 2 p.m. Well, 1:42. Yeah, 2:15 p.m. Eastern time. So this was the start of the consolidation. So again, until we break out to a certain zone, um, you know, you have to expect that the market is just consolidating to correct this bullish move to continue going up. You know what I'm saying? It's not showing signs that, I know like what it's doing right now, but again, we have these range highs, these range lows. So within this time period, the market could decide to bounce. You know what I'm saying? Bounce between these zones, like until it decides to break out. I'm not saying that's exactly what it's going to do, but you know, we have to gather like some type of imagery that the market is going to show us to see when this data reveals itself. Okay, I'm in the right side of the market, or the market is showing exactly what I was patient enough to wait for. All right. So yeah, like nothing really exciting, but the exciting news is that we got what we wanted to see last week. You know what I'm saying? That's what was important. We got what we wanted to see last week. So I'm thinking all indices are going to be reflected by this. I'm actually what's cool is that S&P is actually in one of my zones that I was already looking for. So if I go back to the daily time frame, we should be able to see S&P. So oops. So S&P, again, it respected that consolidation zone that we talked about last week. I forgot which video that was in, if that was in our live trading or our live analysis that we did. But look, this was a consolidation zone, and I was expecting the market to come back here. I was expecting it to come back here last year, but it decided to come back here towards the beginning of this year, which is a good sign. That's a good sign that I wanted to see. So as long as we're continuing bullish, which I had a little annotation over here, note that I left myself. Where we at? I said buy up once price breaks and return. So what I wanted to see is that if we return down here, I wanted price to break down, which it did. I didn't know how low it was going to go, but I did want to see it return like here. So to me, this is our buy zone. I'm looking at S&P as this is our buy zone. Once we break out of this consolidation. So really, if you're that person, you know what I'm saying, and want a little bit more clarity, you can probably wait till this daily candle closes. We either want to see it close something like this, and then the next day, which I doubt it's going to do, or we want to see it close bullish. Like that's our two options. But if it starts pushing down more, then we have to reevaluate like what the market is overall trying to do. And I mean like all the way down here, like it could still pull back to this high, but I think that we're still pushing up, and it's just consolidating to throw, you know, anybody that's about to enter in the market today off to continue pushing up. Normally, when you have those days from like Sunday, what the market, you know, not all the time, what the market has shown you from like Monday, I mean, from Sunday, that should continue to be the move. You know what I'm saying? So from Sunday, we've still been bullish with some gaps in the market, and that should continue to still be the move with, you know, pullbacks, you know, the market trying to fight until it pushes up. But a lot of imbalance that it's throwing. I know that it's still consolidating even within S&P. So you just wait for the breakout and just be patient. But yeah, this is probably your buy zone. You know what I'm saying? If you can't handle the withdrawal, I mean, yeah, with the withdrawal, not withdrawal, the drawdown. I don't know why I'm struggling to say that. The drawdown. Yeah, if you can't handle the drawdown, then, you know, you wait for the break. And this is more than likely your buy zone between 56.69 to 56.97.1 if you want to. This is Oanda, so based off of your broker, it may be a little bit different. But that's like the range where I'm looking at for the buy zone. Because I bought yesterday, well, I bought US 30 and I wanted to take advantage of S&P because I feel like US 30 is still going to be a little violent compared to everything else. But I mean, that's pretty much my projections. Let's look at GU real quick. So bearish engulfing candle. We have 16 minutes before this 4-hour candle closes. That's a good sign that we want to see. The only thing that we want to see is like we want the next 4-hour candle to start pushing down. We don't want the next 4-hour candle to start pushing like all the way back up here. It can pull back depending on, again, like, you know, 50. I don't know if that's how this candle is going to close, if it's going to do like another push in the next 16, 15 minutes, but I doubt it. So, you know, we're looking at 50%. That's 29.77. And then we have 382 right here. So if it closes like this, what I'm thinking is that the open probably will push it to 382. So, you know, you'll probably have a push down, but this was the move. Like these were the moves that we wanted to see from like GU. Because again, if it's reflecting like what the dollar is doing, and you see how like as the dollar, like it was aggressively bullish, and then as the dollar like pulled back a little bit, GU pulled back too. Where we at? Yeah. But I still think that that's pushing up, even though, you know, we having this struggle within this zone. Like this was a consolidation zone. We have a gap right here that's been covered. This was a consolidation. Like it's weird, but you know, the fact that the market already pushed high to this zone. Normally, if you have consolidation like these zones, like it would be to the bottom of that structure if it was retesting. And I know that that's retesting right now, but that's just pushing back. Anytime the market is going to touch structure, it's going to react to it. So this being a previous low, it's going to react to it, but you see the market hasn't turned around. We'll see, by the time 10:30, shows its hand. But I think with the dollar index, again, what we're seeing with GU, dollar index is about to get ready to turn around. So it's just the waiting game at this point. Yeah. Oh, another thing was real quick before we end this session, because I got to get the class. U.S. oil, with these talks so Trump, I think, is speaking with Putin this week. If he hasn't already spoken to him, and they're having talks about Ukraine, and I think there's a talk about a truce going on. So if they're talking about basically doing business once again, we should see oil start to rally up. That should be positive on energies. I know he's putting tariffs on things like steel and gold, but I don't think that's going to continue to drop oil. If him and Putin come to some type of agreement that opens up trades back with Russia, I think oil will be one of the commodities that start to boost, and people can take advantage of it on the stock market and in the foreign exchange market. So that's all my time for today, traders. We'll see as, tomorrow presents more data. What's tomorrow? I don't think there's any big major news that we have this week, but I'll double check and I'll kind of go into that tomorrow as I do scan through the market to see what type of news that we may have. But I had on Bloomberg this morning, like I normally have on, and they haven't said anything major other than the same sentiments. It's still, that uncertainty talk within the market, but the technicals don't lie. We just gotta wait for the fundamentals to kick in after kick in within the market to help boost the technicals. So appreciate everybody for jumping on today. I know that was short, but again, when there's nothing going on, we just outline like what the market has the potential to do and what type of information we're waiting for the market to show us so we can execute. So I'll see all my traders that's on Discord tomorrow, and all my YouTubers that follow me. Obviously, this will be on maybe a day or two after, so you'll be able to see this video. But again, this information is still relevant even if it's 2-3 days old. Like, it's just showing you, especially on market overview days, it's just showing you what's our projection in the market. So you come back to it Wednesday, Thursday, and it's actually responding to what we were actually forecasting, then yeah, you just find your entry point from there. So appreciate you, traders. Everybody have a successful trading day, and I will catch everybody on their hump day tomorrow. So see you tomorrow, traders.